It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that one and done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball information. My name is Jay Heinrich, and if you don't know, now you know I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train at Dr. William Kennan on X. You can follow me there. You can follow us on the show page at One and Done CBB. You can also find that man on the screen with me over there, Adam C. Holland 34, but around here he's known as El Capitan himself, the captain of the One and Done ship. That is Mr. Mike Holland joining me tonight for our fifth news and notes show of this young college basketball season. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Let's jump right into our opening possession. Mike, what's on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind is what happened to Purdue yesterday, and I guess I got to give some credit to Iowa State. What an impressive win! Waxing the number one team in the country by 23 points on their home floor. A big shout out to your guy, Coach TJ Otzelberger and the Cyclones, man. I wasn't as high on Purdue as everyone else. Coming into the season, they were proving me wrong. Iowa State giving me a little bit of hope that my preseason prediction may somewhat come to fruition. It's just one game, but TKR and Clough did not attempt a three. There was no spacing. They couldn't hit a three. Snake's Eyes jumps in here. Yeah, it was a beatdown, man. Lipsy's playmaking, he returned. He was awesome. 9 points, 5 boards, 8 assists, just super efficient. I think his offensive rating was over 170 in that game. And he needed it because Jefferson wasn't great. Momcilovic was unstoppable. He basically got to his spots. I love the Toure freshman, man. He's been playing really well. Nate Heisey is just an awesome bench piece. And then Blake Buchanan, giving him some versatility at the 5, a little bit more. He can do a little bit more offensively than Deshaun Jackson did last year. So just so much to like about this team, Jay. That's my first take from this weekend. The next one is, man, Virginia kind of quietly handling their business. Coach Ryan Odom, they haven't played the toughest non-con schedule, but you have to like the upside, man. Our question this offseason was, what's the front court going to look like? They had these international bigs. You don't know until you actually see it, right? Well, Tez DeRitter looking like a man among boys, and Johan Grunlow definitely has some NBA upside. And you can't forget the improvement, man. Like, everybody forgot about Onyenso. He's made an actual stride in his third year. He's looked really good as a backup big. They were always going to have one of the better shooting backcourts in the ACC, and yeah, this front court just kind of goes along with it, Jay. And the last one is North Carolina State. Like, what was the point of getting Darren Williams? What's the point of getting Terrence Arsenault? What's the point of getting Jerry Dang? I'm not really sure what Will Wade's doing. He's been doing some post-game stuff talking about Williams is, needing to get right. And I'm like, how can you get right when he's standing in the corner? You have Copeland just running pick and roll and using a slow Euro step 20 times a game. Paul McNeil, every time he catches it, shoots it. Then Alan Lubin's just clogging the paint. Like, there's literally nowhere for Williams to operate. He still has 134 offensive rating on the year, which is kind of crazy because his usage rate is only 22%. I would think you'd want to get that to 25, 26, 27, 28%, Jay. That seems like that would make a lot more sense for him to have the ball and to kind of run your offense through him. So that's my opening 3 ball for the night, Jay. What do you got for us?
Oh, nice. You got the little 3 ball in your opening possession. I'm going to go for a little 2 ball here, maybe a 18-footer, like a bank shot a la Tim Duncan.
All right.
The big fundamental. As full-time getting in there saying to add Mark Pope and Will Wade to the Wolf list. Indeed. Let's start right there in my opening possession here. Kentucky, that beat down from the Zags, 94-59 loss to Gonzaga, former Wildcat and top 5 NBA draft pick DeMarcus Cousins tweeting that the team has no heart and they are hard to watch. Well, listen,
that's rough.
In terms of being hard to watch, I agree. They're not shooting the ball well. They're getting out-rebounded. They're getting outscored in the paint. They gave up 46 points in the paint to the Zags, and they only scored 59 total as a team in that game. The bench isn't giving a spark. A lot of these other top 25 looking teams look to be playing with a greater sense of cohesion, a greater sense of urgency. Now we will see if Pope can earn his money, though, Mike. Many coaches excel at this, us against the world mentality, can sell that gimmick, and they're going to drop out of the top 25. They lost 2 in a row now, and Pope's going to have an opportunity to do just that. Here's the thing, Mike. It's not like they've been losing to scrubs, okay? Like the 3 losses in the last 5 games that they've played, Michigan State, North Carolina, and the Zags, okay? Pope is taking full responsibility and the pressure like a good coach should. Just give it all on me, put the blame on me. He's taking it right now. He knows that these guys are not feeling themselves. How can he manage this? We'll see if he can navigate the ship through these choppy waters before Big Blue Nation just completely melts down. I'm already seeing things about a buyout. Relax. Like, let's chill out. They get a chance to get right against NC Central, and then blam! What do you get? You get Indiana at home. And then, St. John's in Atlanta for the CBS Sports Classic. No rest for the weary Mike. We'll see if Kentucky can get it going. And then my next point here, in my opening possession, a couple of, wake-up calls in the Big Ten for Indiana and Iowa. I talked about Indiana a little bit ago. These are 2 teams that we had at the tail end of our top 25 power rankings last week, with the caveat that they had to take care of business after a not so tough early season schedule. So let's start with Indiana. Coach Darren DeVries' side lost 87-78 to a Louisville team on Saturday that, to be honest, that looks like an Elite 8 type of squad to me. So, no harm, no foul. But the 73-64 loss to Minnesota last Wednesday, that's more of the head scratcher there. No disrespect to Nico Medved, right? Minnesota alum leading the way for the Gophers in his first season as head coach after taking Colorado State to the dance a couple of times. But I feel like Hoosier Nation probably felt a little bit confident about starting off Big Ten play with a dub there when they saw Minnesota on the line. Didn't quite happen that way. So what's on the horizon? Penn State and the aforementioned Kentucky up next. So a couple of teams really wanting to get a win in Kentucky and Indiana in that one. And then Iowa, Mike, got smacked around by Michigan State 71-52. Welcome to the Big Ten in 2025. You didn't play anybody before then. We're not Chicago State. We're not Western Illinois. This is Michigan State. We're real competition. They got beat around there. But against, of course, bounce back against Maryland. Head coach Ben McCollum's first taste of the Cy-Hawk rivalry game coming up. Mike, Iowa State around the corner. And, you just talked about them. What did they do? Oh, no big deal. Just beat Purdue by 23, which is tied for the worst home loss ever by an AP number 1. So Iowa's biggest test of the year on tap Thursday. We will see how they respond. Excellent stuff there in the opening possession. The liveliest live chat in all of college hoops is on fire tonight. Already full-time Snake's Eyes. Steve jumping in there as well. Good to see everybody in there. Hit that subscribe button and join them. If you haven't already, looking at 1,706 of you guys have already, and gals, have already hit that button, and we definitely appreciate that. On our way to 11 gazillion, fulfillion, and 1, I believe, is what YouTube said they're going to make that special plaque for us.
Pretty close.
Hit the button, y'all. Hit the button, because why wouldn't you want to hit the button and turn on the notification bells? Because on Sundays, you'll see everybody's favorite segment in all of college hoops. It's time, once again, for the Mid-Major Minute.
All right, we're back with another Mid-Major Minute, and we got 3 more conferences to talk about. I want to start with a conference down here in the Texas area where we're at, the Southland. Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks. They are 7-2, 1-0 in conference play. In first year for Matt Brower, it's gone about as good as it can get for the Lumberjack faithful. They're playing outstanding defense. They're shooting the 3 ball, limiting turnovers. So just a great job overall. You got Kean Thompson, a former UMass transfer, at the point there, averaging 17.5 points, 6.5 boards, 4.5 assists with solid efficiency. And then JUCO transfer guard Lateef Patrick's been a pleasant surprise for them. We know that the Southland's probably going to run through McNeese again, but SFA looking like they're going to give them a nice run. We'll switch it over to the America East with the UMBC Retrievers are 6-3, and Coach Jim Ferry and his squad have done a nice job to open the year. They played Georgetown and Dayton to within 10 points on the road. They have some good wins against Wagner, Bucknell, D2 transfer to Jalakai King. He leads them in scoring with 14 points per game, and they have senior center Josh Odunawo, who's been really efficient. They have a huge mid-major matchup this coming Tuesday when they host 8-1 Buffalo from the MAC. So looking forward to that one. And finally, we go out to the SoCon with the Mercer Bears 7-2. Ryan Ritter is in year 2, and he's off to a really nice start. They're taking care of the ball. They're also knocking down threes. And you have Memphis transfer Baraka Okoji, who's been putting up huge numbers to start the year, 18 points, 4 boards, 6 assists. And they also have down transfer Armani Mighty from Boston College. He's a center, and he's averaging 14, 9 boards, and 2 blocks. So next couple of weeks for these guys will be pretty tough. Clemson, UCF, Washington State, all on the road for Mercer. So bumpy couple of weeks probably ahead. But still, from what we've seen, it looks like Mercer is going to be a legit contender in the SoCon. And that'll wrap up this week's edition of the Mid-Major Minute.
It's a bop every time.
Yes.
You think we'll see Mercer's name come across as winning one of these bye games here in the not too distant future? You think they could get it done? All right, there we go. All right,
that would be the one I'm going to call the shot right there. if any of those three,
excellent, man.
UCF.
It'll be UCF. All right, excellent stuff. We'll be on the lookout for that, and we hope that you're on the lookout for us every time that we're on here. If you didn't know, we're streaming Mountain West games right here on the channel. We're bringing you DFS content. We're bringing you news and notes. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss one single solitary minute of our college basketball coverage. Just like our weekly top 25 power rankings, it is time for some fresh blood here in our top 25. Mike, let's start right here at the bottom. Number 25, St. Mary's. Number 24, Wisconsin. Number 23, St. John's. Number 22, Arkansas, and number 21, Virginia. 5 teams that were not ranked last week in our power rankings, but 4 of them have seen the top 25 before. Mike, you talked about Virginia earlier. What are your thoughts on this batch of 5?
Yeah, so, I mean, St. Mary's looked great all year except for the beatdown that they took from Vandy. But now this Vandy team, of course, looks really good. So bringing them back into the top 25 here. Arkansas, the huge win over Louisville, still love their ceiling. We talk about it all the time. Cal, it takes him a while to figure out what he really wants to do with his roster. And then St. John's picking up a nice win over Ole Miss as they try to get some momentum going here, man. It's kind of been one of the stories, like just kind of a little bit of a slow start, but playing a tough schedule, right? So we'll see what they look like. They should dominate along with UConn in this kind of watered down Big East, my friend.
It does feel watered down. It's kind of weird to say that, but it does kind of feel that way. Moving on now to teams 20 through 16. Florida coming in at number 20. Texas Tech at 19. Nebraska at 18. Tennessee at 17. And Kansas at 16. Big jumps for Texas Tech and Nebraska all the way from out of our power rankings to 19 and 18 respectively. Tech with a huge win over LSU, and they certainly do look the part. Mike, Nebraska is kind of on that same track where you could question their schedule so far, but they do have some quality wins, and that gives us a little bit more confidence for them.
Yeah, a lot more confidence than what we did last week with some of the Big Ten teams, man. They absolutely beat down Creighton today to give them their 4th win over a KenPom top 100 team. Now, they still don't have a win, and they haven't played a team in the top 50 of KenPom, but their schedule hasn't been as bad, like you mentioned, so people will probably question why we have Tennessee in here, right? They've lost 3 straight, but go look at who they played. They've been close games, so not going to knock them for that, man. Still think they're going to be really good once they gel. And then love, Jay, what we saw from Kansas, the return of Darren Peterson. It's almost like this Kansas team kind of needed to figure out who they were without him because so much of the focus was with him. And now I think that creates an interesting dynamic moving forward with him. And then now you've got some guys that aren't afraid, that have played in some big games with this team. I think it makes them maybe a little bit more dangerous, which is kind of weird to say.
It's like a lot of good relationships, right? Somebody's got to go away and you got to find yourself who you are without them. And then he comes back
There you
and
go.
and you figure it out then. I was totally tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that he was never going to play another minute,
So
but
was
I'm
I.
glad
That
that
was
he's
Caitlin
back.
Clark. I thought it was a Caitlin Clark situation. Like, it's like, okay, I guess
But
I'm not coming
I'm
back.
definitely glad he's back on the court for Kansas because it makes them a lot more watchable and more dangerous, regardless, no doubt. Moving on now to 15 through 11, we got North Carolina, Illinois, Gonzaga, Vanderbilt, pardon me, and Alabama rounding out this five-pack here. Not much movement from this batch of teams. North Carolina had a nice win against Georgetown on Sunday. Illinois was impressive in that win over Tennessee on Saturday. So, Mike, what are your thoughts on this tier?
Yeah, I think Gonzaga certainly impressive, right? But it's like, is it that impressive? It is Kentucky, right? So it is impressive because we know the talent on that
It's
side, regardless
impressive.
of what they're going through. It's still impressive, right?
Yeah.
Especially a bounce back after what they looked like against Michigan in the Players Era final there. But Vanderbilt continue to look like one of the premier offenses in the country. Absolutely love Alabama's ceiling. They just need to get healthy. They just have so many guys that can shoot the three ball. I thought I saw the graphic today when I was watching the game. It's like they got like 6 guys shooting over 39% from three. And then Aiden Sherrell's progression for them at the 5, that is the major storyline. He's looked really good over the last couple of weeks. We'll see if he can continue to get better.
Moving on now into our top 10 as everybody hits the like and subscribe buttons if they have not already. Of course you have. You're the best broski or brosked you could be, so why wouldn't you have? Getting to the top 10 of our power rankings now. Michigan State, BYU, Louisville, Connecticut, and Purdue. A tough loss at home to Duke there, but they look to be a part of the top 10 team. Michigan State, I am referring to here. And Mike, Louisville and Purdue falling some spots after some concerning losses this week. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, more concerning, right? It's like, okay, they lost the game, but it was more of like the style in which they lost. Purdue getting run out of their own gym, just that whole 4-5 spot with TKR and Clough. That's been the big thing I've been talking about. Yeah, I mean, Louisville, we reacted to their loss against Arkansas. They just didn't make any threes, and they're going to live by the 3 and die by the 3. So we talked about that on the live reaction. And UConn and BYU just kind of quietly going about their business, which, not a bad thing, right? You don't want to be in the headlines sometimes when we do these shows.
Yeah, that's a fair point, man. Like, if we're reacting and your team isn't the one that won, chances are you went 2 for 13 from 3 or something. We saw that last week. Either way, though, that's still a pretty impressive tier of teams there. And we have one more tier here to go. The top 5 in our power rankings. Number 5, Houston. Number 4, Iowa State. Number 3, Duke. Number 2, Arizona. And number 1, right up at the top, right where they belong at this point, is Michigan. No change at number 1, although you could probably make an argument, Mike, Arizona, Duke, even Iowa State could make a legit claim to be at the top of these rankings. But either way, that's probably your 4 number 1 seeds if the tournament started in early December, which it doesn't. But, today that would be it. But regardless of those 4 teams plus Houston, it kind of feels like these will be the 5 teams that we'll be considering in March when it comes time to looking who's going to be on that one line. Maybe Purdue and UConn could have a say in that, but it kind of feels like these are the teams that are going to be jostling for that come season's end.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like we're going to be taking, really any of these teams out much at all this year. It really feels like these are kind of the 5. You mentioned Purdue, Connecticut right there. Still need to see a little bit more from Michigan State, BYU, and Louisville. But, Duke and Houston to me have probably the safest floors. Arizona probably has the best floor ceiling combination. While Iowa State and Michigan, I mean, yeah, there's probably still going to be. I still got to see a little bit more, man. I don't want to ride the early wave, right? I want to see a little bit more as they get into conference play. But yeah, it feels like we're pretty top heavy this year as far as the one line's concerned.
Do you think Michigan will be a 1 seed?
Man, that's so tough, right? Like, I love that I love that they moved away from the whole three big thing, and now they're bringing one off the bench, right? It makes more sense. It's, do you trust Elliot Cadeau, Roddy Gale? I mean, from what we saw so far, since they've moved away from this, this three big starting lineup and gone to a more traditional lineup, they look pretty unbeatable right now. But we're going to need to see some consistency. And I will say today that there's just too much talent with Mara Johnson and Yaxel Lindeborg. They're Florida, but with their backcourt actually playing well. So right now, I'll say yes, that Michigan will be on the 1-1.
I'll say this every time we talk about Lindeborg, he should be playing in the league right now. I'm surprised that he wasn't in that draft, and Michigan is the beneficiary. Why not? They're going to be great. And right now they sit atop the one and done college basketball top 25 power rankings. What a top 5 it is, and what a night it has been. What a month and change it's been already in the college basketball season. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Thanks for everybody for hanging out with us tonight at Full Time Snake's Eyes. Steve hopping in there, of course. Everybody doing their part in the one and done universe. Make sure you hang out with us on a Monday. Mike's bringing you a DFS show. Why not? Are you interested in money? Do you like it? Maybe watch the show and get some of that bread. Mike's going to do the best that he can, helping you out, bringing the core plays, bringing you plays up and down that slate. So make sure you tune in there on a Monday. Then we're going to get you a live reaction to Florida and UConn from MSG on Tuesday, from the world's most famous arena. And then we're going to find the world's most famous college basketball podcast on YouTube with an ampersand in the title. We're going to be doing it all right here. Cam hopping in here. Mr. Moneyman himself hitting big this week, along with our guy right here on the screen with me, chasing commas this week too in those DFS streets. Hey, I'm just saying, if you like money, watch the DFS show. Hang out with us here on One and Done. If you like college basketball in general, this is the spot to be. So we appreciate all of you for hanging out with us. Until next time, thanks for Nate for pushing the buttons. Thanks for Eric for getting the studio ready. And thanks to my guy, El Capitan himself, for spitting all that knowledge that he has about college basketball right here on the show. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jayheinrich. Come again. Peace.